The Ungrateful Maiden, an African folktale. Once upon a time, in a quiet village nestled between rolling hills and whispering woods, there lived an old woman named Mama Ebel. Her house was small, her pantry rarely full, and her bones ached with every change of season, but her heart was as warm as the sun. One cold evening, as the wind howled and the skies darkened, Mama Ebel heard a faint knock at her door. When she opened it, there stood a young maiden. Her clothes were torn, her feet were bare, and her eyes were swollen from crying. "Please, Ma," the maiden whispered, "I have nowhere to go." Without a second thought, Mama Ebel brought the girl inside, fed her hot yam porridge, wrapped her in an old shawl, and gave her the only spare bed she had. The maiden, whose name was Ada, stayed for days, then weeks, and soon months. Mama Ebel taught her to cook, sew, and tend to the little garden. In return, Ada fetched water, gathered firewood, and listened to the old woman's tales. Mama Ebel grew to love her as a daughter, and Ada called her mother. But as seasons changed, fortune changed too. One day, a wealthy merchant visited the village, looking for someone to help manage his house. He noticed Ada's beauty and grace and offered her a life of comfort in the distant city. Overjoyed, Ada packed her things. Mama Ebel gave her a small charm, a woven bracelet, and said softly, "This is to remind you of home, child. Always be kind. Always be grateful." Ada nodded, but her mind was already elsewhere. Days passed, then months, and Mama Ebel heard no word from the maiden she had raised. Years later, the old woman found herself traveling to the city market, bent and frail, her basket empty. There, dressed in fine silks and surrounded by servants, stood Ada. She looked at Mama Ebel, her old mother, but her gaze turned cold. "Who is this beggar?" Ada asked, pretending not to know her. Mama Ebel's heart cracked, but she said nothing. She turned and walked away, her spirit heavy. The wind that evening whispered a warning, for the ancestors had witnessed Ada's betrayal. Not long after, misfortune struck Ada's household. Her wealth crumbled, friends abandoned her, and her beauty faded with stress and grief. Alone and penniless, she returned to the same village where her journey had begun. But Mama Ebel was long gone, and the house stood empty, only the bracelet hanging on the door like a silent reminder. Moral of the story: gratitude is a treasure no wealth can replace. Those who forget kindness will one day find themselves forgotten too.